Hi, Shobha. Welcome to the Millionaire We Show with
Hi, Sargam. Thank you. So happy to be here.
likewise. And, it's a pleasure to know a fellow writer who's written like 8 novels and doing so much work in the space of writing, inspiring so many of us. Shobha, would you like to tell something about your, journey?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I'd love to share with you, Sargam. It's like I started out as a child who had big dreams. Always wanted to be creative. I was very imaginative, and from childhood, I always had these stories in my head. And being an only child, I had the comfort of books. So from there, I evolved into writing and developing myself in that area. But I never really acknowledged that part, that creative side of me. I would just write little notes. I used to read books and read the newspapers, and some articles would really touch me, and I would love the way the author would write. And then I would have my little notebook and copy that segment down and reread it because I just loved the way that person expressed themselves. So you could say my journey stopped in the writing space, stopped because uh, we are conditioned as women from my generation to be focused on being a good housewife, a good mom, and to be available, to the family, the extended family. And I followed all that side of that journey, which was the expectations from elders and family and parents.
Mhm.
And then I realized there's something nagging at me that still made me feel that I'm still not fulfilled. There's something else I want to be besides being a mom and a housewife and a daughter and a daughter. I want to be something more.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was the writing. So I started writing from there, did some freelance work, then wrote short stories, joined writers' groups,
Mhm.
and then evolved into writing novels. And here I am today, I would say 25, 30, almost 30 years down the road with this dream and pursuing it and living the dream. So I'm very grateful for that and happy to be here.
Wonderful. It's so inspiring to meet a woman who, who is following or pursuing her dreams. And, the more they do it, the more they inspire other women to do so. Hats off, for taking that, path in your life and then, doing what your heart desires. So, like you said early on, there was this creative passion of writing and being the only child. Um, so books was a natural part of you.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, as an introvert, no, Sargam. I mean, I'm not easily. I couldn't socialize very easily. It took me a bit of time to make friends,
Mhm.
and as an introvert, I found more pleasure in reading and more uh, time spent in learning about like my favorite were Enid Blyton books as a child. So all these adventures with what was happening with these these groups of little kids going around and solving crimes or solving
Ah,
puzzles. So I just love that kind of storyline. So yes, you could say that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading. I enjoyed reading books a lot more. The writing part came a little bit later because it was sort of a sense that if I love reading this and I love what the author has done to inspire others, readers like me, I
mhm.
wish I could write like that so I can inspire others with my stories and my way of expressing, my imagination or my thoughts. So that's where it suddenly came about. It was a journey where I felt it was out of my comfort zone. I was not sure I could do it
Mhm.
because we always doubt ourselves when we try something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we have that doubt, that fear, the desire has to outweigh that fear, that that drive, that motivation has to outweigh that fear, so that we can pursue the goals. Because there is there are the part of the journey is to make mistakes, to learn from it, to develop from it. So along the way there have been critical reviews of my books, which is always part of the journey. When you're out there and your work is out there, people are not always going to love your writing. So it's part
Yeah.
of the process.
Yeah, and I think most of the time people avoid criticism. They just want to be loved and appreciated. And but the world is not like that. So you have to be ready in order to accept criticism. And
Correct.
I think that is where your self-esteem comes into picture. If you have good self-esteem, what other people say may not really matter to you. You can always learn. You can always take it, with conviction that I'll improve upon myself, right?
That's absolutely true, Sargam. What you said right there, you hit the nail on the head, that if you have a healthy sense of self, unshakable sense of self-esteem, even if you falter, even if you made a little bit of a mistake, or even if you get critical reviews, you will be able to go ahead, learn from it and say, it's okay, I made a mistake, I'm human, I know this is an experience for me to learn from, and then develop myself. So you're rightly said that the conviction that we have of our ability is important, that helps us to drive us forward. But if we falter, we feel that, oh no, I better just give up, then that's the part of the self-esteem that needs to be developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, Shobha, you were writing, mostly fiction early
Yes.
on, and then you moved into non-fiction. So how did
Mhm.
you decide that, because, fiction is like your own world, you create your own world, and then moving on to non-fiction and your, recent book, which is Reboot, Reflect, Revive Self-Esteem, on self-esteem. So from in a world, or in a selfie world,
Happy work. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's a very, very apt topic at this point of time, because most of us are living that selfie life, and
Mhm.
we want to avoid the practical, or maybe the world that is. So
Yeah.
it's escape for most of us.
Yes. Yes.
Living that kind of life. So how did you make that transition? How did you decide?
Okay. So from writing 8 novels, and then it just happened organically. It just worked out that I used to go to Pune a lot to visit my parents living there.
Mm-hmm,
And the Sadhu Vaswani mission is also based in Pune.
mm-hmm,
So I'm not a follower of Sadhu Vaswani per se, but I love the wisdom and the, how would you say, the teachings of Dada Vaswani.
mm-hmm.
And turned out one of the disciples there and the devotees, they requested if I could write a book on Dada Vaswani's life.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So I was just so touched by that. And I said, do you know that I write novels that are a little bit on the, violent, thriller, suspense, adventure side? They said, no, no, we are okay. You please go ahead and write about Dada Vaswani. His life was an adventure, and it's an adventure in spirituality, and write it from in a way that the youth will resonate with it. They will understand his teachings from their perceptions, from their generation. So I said, okay, sure. And that's where it started, my journey into nonfiction. And obviously, nonfiction, you have to be absolutely careful with every fact and every expression and every teaching that I mentioned in the book and analyzed and gave my perception of it, also had to be accurate,
Right.
because you cannot misread a teaching or a piece of wisdom written by such a great humanitarian as Dada Vaswani.
Right.
So that was a challenge, but I put my whole heart into it, because I said I want to get this right, because it's somebody who's so loved by millions of people and looked up to by millions of people. So I did not want anyone, any follower or disciple to feel
Mhm.
let down by what was expressed in the book or what I shared in the book.
Yeah.
So that was a learning curve for me. It was out of my comfort zone again, but I pushed myself and kept doing it and rewriting. Sometimes some chapters, especially deep topics like karma,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be written in a way that it's a broad subject, right? Karma, and it has to be correctly expressed in the book. So that took a bit of time to understand. And after it was over, I I was obviously relieved that it was over and everyone approved of it. It was vetted by the Sadhu Aswani mission, the disciples, devotees, they all read it. But after that, I suddenly felt this lingering sort of sense that there's a vacuum in my life, because this was something I would do every single day, and my mind was always on the book
Yeah.
constantly. And then after that, I wrote another non-fiction book. This is about a couple based in Hong Kong who adopted a baby from India and their journey. So it was a heartfelt journey about unconditional love and the love of a parent who really wanted to bring that child home to Hong Kong, and what they went through. So that was also a lovely heartfelt story. And I then felt real life stories, people have such amazing personalities that I wanted to share. After that, I said, now I can't go back to fiction, I want to write nonfiction. So then the self-esteem book came into the picture. And in this book, I've written inspiring stories. I've interviewed a number of people
Mm-hmm.
from different walks of life and who've experienced self-esteem issues as a child or as an adult, and how they overcame it. Because the symptoms of self-esteem, like low self-esteem, can lead to mental health issues. So
Right.
how they dealt with it, how they overcame it, how they developed themselves. And that was also a learning experience for me, because then I came to realize that I struggled with low self-esteem. So,
We all
so
do.
so then self-esteem in a selfie world became so appropriate as a title, because we all practically live in social media constantly. We are
Yeah.
onto our phones, our mobile devices are with us all the time. So when we keep scrolling through social media sites, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, then we feel, you feel this lingering self-doubt that, I'm not good enough, I should be like that person, I should do that. So then we start comparing ourselves to others. Then from there, it becomes a spiraling issue,
Yeah.
because then we
Right.
constantly think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember, like you said, comparison. There's a beautiful quote saying, "Comparison is the thief of all joy."
Yeah,
You
correct.
know, and I feel, I personally, as a coach myself, and knowing energy quite well,
Mm,
from what it does, the thought of comparison, or maybe the thought of self-doubt, or low self-esteem, all of this creates a lot of diseased energy in your body. We don't even realize
yes.
this. We think at a superficial level, maybe it's just related with emotions, but
Mhm,
the body feeds on emotions.
mhm,
And if you are constantly supplying emotions like, you're not good enough, you are, you're not better than others, all of this leads to illness of the body.
correct.
And like you
Mm,
say, it may start with a mental illness, and people don't even realize it. So
mm,
how can a person,
yeah.
because you being now an authority on this topic, how can a
Mhm,
person start on their journey of self-esteem? Firstly, knowing the signs. What are
mhm.
the signs? And then what are the steps that they can take? If you can share a little bit about that.
Yes, yes, sure, sure, of course, because a lot of it is the awareness part of it.
Yeah.
So I was through my whole upbringing and my way of thinking, because of my conditioning, I was always hard on myself.
Mhm.
So when I got this awareness that I'm setting very high standards for myself, standards of perfection that I will not reach, and if I don't reach it, means I'm a failure. It's
Yeah.
not about the work that I do. It's not that the work was a mistake, or I made a mistake in the work. It
Mhm.
became that I became a failure. So it was always redirected inward as that
Yeah.
I am not good enough. So
Mhm.
the way to do it, of course, is to have the awareness of these kind of thoughts,
Mhm.
that if you're in that loop of saying I'm not good enough, or you have an inner critic where's always saying that, oh, you're too fat, too thin, you look in the mirror and you say, oh, I'm not perfect, or things like that, then you just catch yourself thinking that thought when
Mhm.
you're in that moment, and then you use that thought and imagine it disassociated as a cartoon character, like a Mickey Mouse or something, saying, oh, I'm so fat, I'm so thin, kind of turn it away
Oh,
into
wow.
a comedy scene and say, oh, ignore, this
Yeah.
character is coming into my life and trying to make fun of me. Ignore it. So yeah, that's making light of it. But the way to do it obviously is to catch it when it's coming up in your mind. And then when it comes into your mind, obviously your body tenses up, your breathing is shallow. The senses you feel in your body, like you so rightly said, the energy in the body changes the way
Yeah.
it translates into a kind of a physical ailment. So we need to be observant of that thought, and then ask the question why. Okay, if I'm saying I'm not good enough, why am I not good enough? I've achieved so much, I've accomplished so much. In
Yeah.
which area am I not good enough? Okay, I need to learn how time management, maybe. I need to get better at practicing more of the coaching experiences, or learn more from the tool book. So developing myself is part of the constructive criticism that comes into play. So when we think in our minds that we are not good enough, challenge that statement into a question.
Yeah.
Ask why. Why am I not good enough? What is it that I can do better? And then the third way is compassion.
Mhm.
Know that everybody's journey is not perfect. We're living in a life where the human experience is imperfect, and we make mistakes. We are human, and to accept them, to forgive ourselves for them, and be compassionate. So that's where self-love comes in, the
Mhm.
self-compassion, the understanding for the self. Like we wouldn't speak to our friend in that harsh tone that
Right.
we speak to
Actually.
ourselves.
Mhm.
So why are we speaking to ourselves like that? So be a friend to yourself. So I guess it all starts from the awareness of that one thought that drives us into that direction of low self-esteem.
Yeah, right. And I loved the idea of creating a character out of it, and be
Mm,
aware of that character, and make fun of it, because most of the time when we don't question why,
mm.
for a passing thought, it can do a lot of harm, because
Yes,
you might just start believing in it without even
yes,
giving a justification for it to yourself,
that's
right?
true. That's
And
true.
that's the mistake that most of us do. And even it's not even about you. Sometimes other people say things to you,
Mm.
right? And you start believing it, or start
Yes,
getting
correct.
hurt without
Mm,
even analyzing that comment or question or whatever they are throwing at you.
mm.
So I think it's time that people take the control of their life back to themselves,
Yes.
by being in alignment, by being reflective, or having that observation about their own life. I think
Mhm.
that's the important takeaway from this question, that
Yes.
develop the habit of self-awareness.
Yes, yes. Like, don't let anyone else write the story of your life. You hold
Absolutely.
the pen, you write your story, how you want it, which direction you want it. So that's one of the things I learned from Dada Vaswani, which was the great takeaway from his stories that we control our destiny. Every thought we think, every word we speak, every act we perform, every desire we have is writing or planting the seed of the story of our
Mhm.
life. And therefore, we can change it. If we change our thought, we change the other parts of the way we think, the way we make choices and decisions. So
Yeah.
it's all stemming from how we think in a way. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, Shobha, I'm sure, while writing all of these things, like you said, you also went through a journey of self-doubt. You also went through self-esteem issues and some, so how do you master your inner game now? It's a
Wow.
thing that we do.
Yeah, I think it's a journey. I go through that. I have bouts of self-doubt, Sometimes I'm motivated, I get very excited. Sometimes I feel, oh, should I do this? Am I good enough? We all go through that, fair enough. But then when I uh, feel that I'm getting into the zone of self-doubt or setting very high standards for myself, then I take a step back and sort of disassociate and put myself in the observer position, that what is it that I want to achieve and why am I so hard on myself for it. So I would say the journey is constant reflection, constant um, understanding of the self, that uh, we need to be kinder, we need to be
Mhm.
more um, we need to allow ourselves
Yeah.
space to make mistakes, to grow, to develop, and not to crush ourselves because of the mistakes. We think back and feel guilt, and
Mhm.
we feel regret, or we feel that we could have done something better. In hindsight, everything can be said, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, but it's been done, it's done, it is what it is. So we have to look at the future. And I think as a coach, Sargam, I think that's how you would guide your clients, isn't it? To look in the future
Yeah.
and not to dwell on the past. So that's what I do constantly every day, to look in the future and see how I can help others develop awareness of their self-esteem, and how relevant it is now in this day and age because of social media. And we are so connected,
Right.
constantly we are connected with the world, like 24/7. There's so much competition also in the workplace, in for students to achieve certain levels of grades, or get into the best universities, do the best in their life. It's constantly like a race. So that kind of understanding of each individual is so important for themselves, that they are unique, they are capable of
Yeah.
achieving what they want to achieve, but it's their story, they have to write it themselves.
I agree. And most of the time when probably we are running our own race, and we try to think that okay, there is no competition, then comes a thought, are you being complacent?
That's also true. Are you too comfortable in your zone?
Yeah. So we have to be really mindful of and very clear about what you are capable of doing, and
Mhm,
how you can do it. And sometimes you just have to slow down, sometimes you just have to catch up pace, but
mhm.
it has to be your decision, it has to be self-induced, rather than your
Yes.
environment telling you or your competition telling you. I think it
Mhm,
has to come from within. And
mhm,
if we start imbibing that more and more, that
mhm.
is where your true self will unfold. That's what I feel. People don't realize this, but the more you're connected and in alignment with yourself,
Mhm.
the faster will be your progress. But
Correct.
if it is induced from outside, through pressure or through competition, you will always be disconnected with your true self, or your higher self, as we call it. So
Yes.
we really need to be or find that alignment within
Mhm.
before we set out to master anything, or maybe um, do any kind of creative work, or we are trying to put ourselves outside, because the world is there to judge you.
Constantly. So
Constantly.
we have to be strong, thick skinned, and just keep the focus inward. Like you said, it comes from within ourselves. A
Yeah,
lot of the answers we can get is from within ourselves.
absolutely. And I think self-esteem and self-love is a journey. It takes
Mm,
time. It
it
doesn't
does.
happen like that, and you slowly, gradually have to understand your own psyche. Most of
Mm,
the time, we do not have awareness about our own self, and that is what leads to these problems in our life. The
mm,
more like I said, just the way you understand your child or your friend, or the
mm.
people you love, you need to understand yourself.
Yes, yes, exactly. Give that much time to yourself as much as you would give time to everyone else.
Yeah,
So, like we are as women mostly in our generation taught that give everybody the attention, whatever you have to do for everybody else. So we always put everybody else's needs in the forefront, and then our needs take a back seat.
mhm,
So it's not being selfish, it's not being arrogant if we take care of our needs also, because
abs-
then if our cup is full, then we can spill that love out to everybody else.
absolutely.
Yeah, if our cup is empty, we also will feel that, oh, why should I do this for this person? You feel bitter that you
Yeah,
didn't follow your dreams, or you didn't pursue a goal in life, or you didn't attempt something that probably you wished you could have done. Then that regret, that bitterness holds you back, and the love doesn't come easily then for others.
absolutely. In terms of energy, we say, when you're happy, the energy is expansive. When the energy is
Mm,
expansive, it is easy to give. And when you are
correct.
doing it out of sadness, it is contraction. Your energy shrinks. And when your
Yes.
energy shrinks, you always feel you do not have enough.
So true, Sargam. That's it. I think you've got the key to how we need to develop ourselves. The
Yeah,
point is that if we can find a that little direction, or that goal, or that little dream that motivates us to get out of bed enthusiastically to do what we want to do.
yeah,
Um, those are those small key moments that help us develop and understand that yes, we owe it to ourselves to be happy.
yeah.
It's not we shouldn't feel guilty if we are happy. We should be happy. Life is about being happy,
Yeah,
isn't it?
sharing happiness, that
Yeah.
absolutely. And I feel, more the people are happier, more the planet becomes happy, and we all
Yes.
are happy. So it starts with happiness, your happiness.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. So, Shubha, one more question. You've written non-fiction stuff. You've written fiction as well. You know, there is a way we define success. In
Mhm,
material terms, more money is success, more fame is success, power is success.
mhm,
But like you being a life coach, and me being an energy coach,
mhm,
I feel there is more subtle success that lies in winning the inner game, or the psychological part of success. So what,
mhm,
according to you, is the psychological or the energetic blueprint, like I call it, of
mhm.
success, for success in your life?
I love that, Sargam. The energetic blueprint. I like that. It's very good. It resonates. So if I was to share a little bit about my journey as an author, I was always striving for recognition, to be on a bestseller list. I was just striving in that direction. Later on, I came to realize that the actual journey of writing was brought me the greatest fulfillment. The journey that actually when I'm writing a book and developing the chapter or rewriting it and coming up with different ideas, that is for me success. That blueprint is actually the journey, not the actual end game, not the actual completion of the book, but
Mm.
actually the process of going through it. So I would say the for me the blueprint of feeling successful is the joy within the having a purpose, having a goal, but not worrying about the results of it. Like, yes, I may not be on a bestseller list. I may not get recognition. I may not get that wonderful award, or that how would you say it, that lots of royalties in terms of
Glory.
monetary in terms of monetary success. But I'm very happy where I am. Why? Because that for me is success. When you feel that sense of contentment,
Yeah.
that I didn't waste a moment, I didn't give up on a book. I pursued all my dreams and goals.
Wow.
I'm blessed with a very supportive family
Mm.
who noted my, I get a little creative, you know, uh, streaks where I just want to hide myself in my room and write all day. So very supportive family that way. But I would say that that's success, is when you find that one thing you love to do and you do it with passion, even if it means there's nothing at the end of that journey. You still do it because you love it.
Yeah, I think, like I keep saying, follow your joy, follow your joy. And,
Yeah.
I'm gradually realizing that, following your joy, it might be sounding cliched, but that, happiness of waking up every day with a sense of purpose
Mm.
is what keeps you going.
Mm.
And your purpose may not be the purpose of your life. It could be
Yeah.
the purpose for a month, the purpose
Yes.
for a year, and you're
Correct.
excited every day waking up to it and just doing your best for that, purpose for the month, purpose for the day, whatever it is, and
Yes.
feeling
Yes.
that
Yes.
sense of fulfillment. And most
Mhm.
of the time, we delay it, saying this may not be the purpose,
Mm. Mm.
and I have to prepare for the purpose, and that day gets postponed to a year, and then postponed to half a decade, and then at the end of your life you keep wondering, I did not take that first step.
Yeah, it's true. It's that first step that, yes, it is scary. Like, I'm scared to speak in public or in front of an audience. That's a fear I have. But this year I did 5 different things that helped me overcome that fear. But
Wonderful.
if I didn't do it, I would have continued to postpone it. But I felt that no, I have to break out of that fear and face the tiger head on.
And I that tiger is there for everyone. So like I do a lot of video interviews, and but if I stop for a month and
Yeah.
I have to restart,
Mm.
that self-doubt will start creeping in.
Yeah.
I feel the same kind of butterflies in my stomach when I have to do that interview. But once it's done, you are again in the flow. I
Yes,
think this
yes.
could happen with anyone. It's not, uh,
Mm.
like it doesn't have to be, for something small. It could be, for people who are in Hollywood, Bollywood, who do it day in and day out, facing the camera. They can also be, doubtful about maybe doing an interview, maybe, being on a podcast. So
Yes.
it's all about overcoming that resistance within.
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct,
that's,
correct. Yes.
yeah, I think that wonderfully, answered,
Thank
Shobha.
you.
So, because you've also been in touch with the spiritual part of things with your book, and I'm sure when you're writing the biography of such amazing spiritually enlightened person, um, what do you think is the importance of having your connect early on with spirituality, or having something to anchor or hold space for you apart from the physical comforts and people around?
Mm. Yeah, I think that faith is very, very important. It's like oxygen, literally. It's
Mhm.
knowing that innately that you are connected to a higher power, to the divine, and knowing innately that whatever you do, you'll be guided. There is a guiding hand above you. So that's so important, I feel, in anyone's journey in life, and also for self development.
Mhm.
Because when we have moments when we feel weak or rejected, dejected, we who do we turn to at that moment? Because really nobody's words can make us feel better. Nobody, whether it's our closest loved ones, none of them can bring that solace within, unless we
Mm.
can actually connect to the inner part of ourselves and know that there is this divine hand that's guiding us, and maybe it's a lesson to be learned, and that's why we are feeling this way. So it's a lot to do with acceptance, and spirituality is not it's not a crutch. It's not
Yeah.
being weak and then depending on God and saying, take over my troubles. No, it is facing our troubles, knowing that, okay, God gave us these troubles, or we are experiencing these troubles, and that we have the right attitude or the strength that comes from deep within us. The strength we harness from a divine power. So, a lot of my personal spiritual connection is not that I only pray in the morning and that's it. It's like knowing that if I tap into myself, I can feel connected. I
One.
can feel that somebody's out there taking care of me. And if I'm faltering, I can get the strength to pick myself up and carry on.
Mhm. And how do you use this connection, especially in your writing, like
Mm.
especially for those who are inspired to be writers and who want to
Yeah.
start their first book? So how like can you share some guidance on how can they start, and is there a way to connect or tap into their higher power so that the work that they create is in alignment with
Mm.
their higher purpose? Any technique on that?
Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would say that first, any book that you start, even for me, it's 11th or 12th book, I still feel that sense of anxiety. Oh no, it's a blank page. What am I going to start writing? So it always happens like that. So accept that's normal. If you
Mhm.
have that anxiety, it's good. Consider it, it's a good thing.
Mhm.
And then use that sense of within, that confidence within, that you know what you want to write about already, like a, even if it's a vague idea, even it's like literally one word comes to mind, just put it down.
Yeah.
From that word, I assure you more will flow.
Mm.
It'll just flow because you are, that word maybe is like the magic word that connects you, aligns you to something bigger, like a bigger uh, paragraph or a bigger storyline that's emerging out of you. So just start with that one word, and then you'll see how it comes up. More words come, more ideas will flow, they'll correlate, they'll interlink, and then you keep writing and writing. And then once you have written the whole thing, don't edit in between, because it's a
Mm.
habit when you see that first paragraph, oh no, no good, edit, delete.
Yeah,
Don't do that. Yeah, it happens very often with writers that they just write and edit, write and edit. No, write the whole thing, write at least 5-10 pages first, and or write one chapter first and then go back and edit. And maybe you need to shuffle some paragraphs, move things here and there, edit, maybe there's some repetition, you can rewrite that, bring
yeah.
in more new ideas in. But when you write, don't be critical, don't use the other side of your brain and be critical, just use the imaginative creative side and just keep writing.
Wonderful. Also, one more thing, I've seen a lot of people when they want to write or they begin their writing journey. I've seen people saying, "Are you ready to write a book? Do you think you have enough experience to write a book?" And those are the kind of questions that at times, mm, people would just delay that process of writing, thinking, when I'll be 60 and I have that kind of experience, that is where I'll start my writing journey, or I'll write my first book.
Mhm.
So do you buy into that, to those ideas?
No, I don't. I said because the point is that if you have in your heart a need to write that book, nobody can tell you that, oh, are you ready to write a book? No, you're ready because you have that in your heart, in your mind. It's there. So you just, what you do is like how they say, if you don't practice, you don't know your mistakes. So keep writing. The more you write, the more you learn about where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, what you need to develop, how to write better, in which area. And maybe the story that you have to share is important for everybody to learn from. And maybe that person who asked you that question is the one who needs the story the most.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So yeah, write that book. Whoever it is who has a desire to write, just write. I believe in that. And don't tell anyone you're writing, because if you feel that you're going to be getting negative comments, then you will feel like, oh, I'll stop my book now, and you leave it for halfway, and then you never get back into it.
Yeah.
So when you're writing a book, ideally don't share too much with people. Just keep writing it, and then when you completed it, then you can share to the world, okay, I've written a book, now I need some editing help, or now I need to know what to do about it. Ideally, that's the best way to go
Yeah,
forward.
I think, any creative work is subjected to, in the energy world, we call it psychic attacks. It's like, people send in those negative energies at times. So yeah, you have to be protective about it. Like, when you're expecting, then it said that for the first 3 months, don't tell anyone.
Yes, yes, exactly.
So
So
I
this is your baby, your book is your baby. Just keep it close to your heart and just give it a lot of love and just keep writing. That's it.
Absolutely. That's a great piece of advice, Shobha. And I think it's coming from you who's written so many books. And your first book is not the end of your writing journey. So
Mhm.
even if you're not prepared, it probably you are being prepared for your 10th book. So keep writing.
Yes. Thank you. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It just you allow the universe to guide you forward. So it's I never expected to write 11 books, but yes, looking back, I only expected the three, then four, then I never
No, it's
expected. But
very
then
inspiring.
it just I allow that energy of whoever wants to share something, and if it develops into a book, it's fine. I'm ready to do it.
Wonderful. And especially when it's coming from you, who has written, around 12 books, people will get more hope on, if you have the urge to write, go ahead and write.
Yes.
Don't think about that this has to be the book for
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Probably it's the preparation for
Yeah.
maybe what is coming in future. And writing, I think, any art, any creativity improves with practice.
Yes.
So just allow yourself to be expressive and just see how you create and enjoy the entire process. Like I said, enjoy that process of writing, because it's not the book that will give you the happiness, but the journey of writing it that will bring joy and happiness in your life.
Yeah. So like it's like I think I mentioned somewhere that it's my journey in writing didn't just develop my skill set, but
Mhm.
also my mindset.
Wow.
So with each book, I changed. I mean, I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago or three
Yeah.
years ago. So with each journey of whatever journey you take, whether it's writing a book or art or painting or being an entrepreneur or anything, it is developing you as a person as well, facing obstacles, learning your strengths, weaknesses, what's your potential also. So you develop as a person, and then what you develop, you set an example to
Mhm.
others to see that, oh wow, she's doing so well, Sargam's, doing this so exciting. We also feel motivated to do the same. So
Okay.
I'm really keen that to see more people doing more of motivating, exciting works that they love, they're passionate about.
And I'm sure after listening to this podcast, people will be inspired to take up that creative project that probably is lying somewhere in their back shelf.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Shobha, for inspiring. I have a short segment which is called the rapid fire. So I'll ask some interesting questions and probably you have to answer it quickly.
Okay, Sargam. Thank you. I'm
So,
ready.
okay, so your favorite movie?
Om Shanti Om.
Wow. Okay, that's a good one. Your favorite quote?
Live in the moment.
Wow. Your favorite holiday destination?
I haven't been there. I want to go to
Mhm.
Egypt actually to see
Oh,
the pyramids. So I don't know if that's a
go
holiday
together.
destination, but anywhere where there's a seaside, I would love to go. So that would be a holiday destination.
Great. Your favorite superhero?
Superhero. I would say James Bond.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
he
Mhm.
looks suave always.
Great. Your favorite book?
I would say Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
Um, who gives you inspiration?
Mm,
A person maybe who has really inspired you a lot.
I would say Dada Vaswani.
Hmm.
After writing his story, I've been feeling the subtle effects of all his teachings coming into my life in different ways. So I would say he's inspired me in many ways.
Wonderful. Okay, that was
Mhm.
the end of our rapid fire.
Thank you. I hope I did well.
Yes, you did. And the other question that I want to ask you is, what is in line? What is that we look forward to for Shobha now in 2022?
Shobha is going to get over her fear of public speaking.
Ah, wonderful.
That's one. She's working on another book,
Mm-hmm.
and she's training, and she'll do more coaching. So, a mindset coach. She's practicing and training to becoming a mindset coach.
And if people want to reach out to you, how can they connect with you?
They can send me an email, shobanihalani@gmail.com. Okay.
Okay, great. And I'll also publish the email and your Instagram page for any
Yes.
person who wants to connect with you or wants to know more about your work or even compliment for you for the work that you've done and send appreciation for that. So thank you, Shobha, for a wonderful conversation. And I'm sure it's going to inspire so many other people, especially women, you know, with the kind of work that you're doing. And God bless you in this journey. And may the coming year be super successful for you.
Thank you, Sargam Mishra. Thank you, Sargam. It has been beautiful and wonderful, and God bless you too. All the success for your upcoming book as well.
Thank you so much. Means a lot to me.